Hello, everyone. Welcome to a new episode of the Guy Panic Podcast. If you can hear it already, I'm using a different setup for recording in my little hovel that might sound better, albeit if you saw what it looks like right now, it looks pretty ghetto. Anyways, let's get on to some news and some other topics. First things first. You know how you've seen, like, if you've been online, you've seen that, like, stupid Ghibli AI thing that OpenAI, I think, put out? You know, another stupid fucking, like, AI filter tool thing that, like, only the most brain dead of morons would ever, like, entertain themselves with. Oh, look, I made the image of the girl who's looking at the camera and smiling with the house on fire into Studio Ghibli. Oh, look, I made the boyfriend turning around looking at the other girl when his own girlfriend is looking at him angry. That's Ghibli too. Haha, crazy. Look, I used Studio Ghibli on this treasured family photo and it changed half of our races. Epic. Awesome, cool. I love AI. It's so epic. I'm so glad that that all of our energy production concerns for the future will be aimed squarely on supplying this fucking stupid nonsensical slop fucking market. Awesome. Like yeah, listen, I don't hate the idea of current AI. I like it with, like, I guess it has certain uses in coding, even though I've also been told that when people learn to use AI for coding, some people straight up forget how to code in the first place, and then, you know, if they don't have the AI, then they'd be fucked. It's almost like that thing where, like, you're in school and the teacher says, you shouldn't use a calculator because when you're an adult you won't need them, and then it turns out that's a complete lie. Everyone has a calculator in their pocket right now. It's called a cell phone. Well, I don't know, if you're a coder and all of a sudden your company skips a payment on their OpenAI fucking subscription, and you're stuck using some shit tool like Grok, I guess maybe then you actually want to know how to code in the first place. I don't know. I don't do coding, so I don't know any of the specifics about that. So I've heard. At the same time, I also understand that AI has other uses in terms of, like, science, engineering. Cool. Should it be purely used for that? As in, should no human eyes and hands ever look over and test the things it does? The answer is no. That's why I'm not as confident in its use for, like, administrative work, like legal work. I would not trust an AI to type things out. Like, listen, I understand human error is a thing, but at the same time, humans are accountable. OpenAI is not. But what it's you doing right now that's, like, really fucking bad is, like, the art thing, because it uses a lot of processing power and a lot of energy to make stupid fucking images that no one's gonna enjoy, that you could have tried making yourself. That's the thing, really, honest to God. If I, I mean, listen, I'm no artist, really. I draw like garbage. Most of the drawings you ever see me ever make will be used with my mouse and my and my keyboard. I'm not. I don't. I think I have a Wacom, but I barely use it, and if I try using it now, it probably wouldn't be that effective. But like, it just try making and the drawing yourself every now and then. It's kind of fun. Learn how to use, like, a program. Maybe not, fucking Photoshop or any other Adobe programs, because fuck Adobe programs. But Clip Studio, use that. Learn how to use that. It's pretty fun app. So if you're gonna buy it, it's a one-time purchase, just like DaVinci Resolve. Ooh. Anyways, so that exists, and you've probably seen a million fucking stupid photos used with it. But what happened today is fucking the White House posted that, like the federal government White House posted an image of, like, it's a Studio Ghibli, like, AI generated image. It's not based on a photograph, I don't think, but I think it uses part of a photograph for the input. Of, like, a mean looking white ICE agent handcuffing a fat crying brown woman of some sort, and it's directly quoting, I believe, or it's just referencing an actual photograph of ICE agents handcuffing an actual, Latino woman who is one of the many immigrants they've rounded up without any trial. By the way, they don't try these people. They just say, "Oh, yeah, no, we got them. We know they smuggled fentanyl or some shit." And she's like crying, and it's like a mockery image, right? The image they posted it because the original too. They posted them because they want you to laugh at the sad brown woman crying and the epic white guys getting her because she's gonna get sent on a plane that will then send her to El Salvador, which has like an actual honest to God slave concentration camp, which is where I guess we're gonna be sending all these immigrants to, right? And what's funny, beyond the fact that they use a fucking stupid AI to make a Studio Ghibli image of this, which is just so barbaric and stupid. What's really funny is that like they aren't if you look at their numbers, they aren't really getting that many people. And I don't know if they're just waiting for an opportunity to get more like legal precedent to do what they want or to deal with like these bossy judges that the Trump administration does not like right now. But or something. They're waiting for something in which they can, then go hog wild, or they just don't actually have that many people they can just, with confidence just grab and bag and toss out the country without a trial. I don't know. It's weird. You'd think by now if they were like really full on that 20 million person number, which by the way, there's not 20 million illegal immigrants in the country. They would whatever estimate that is probably includes actual legal immigrants. But if they had this mandate they always talk about, they would be doing that by now. But I think even they understand that like actually that would take a lot of money and time and would end up with a lot of people dead on both sides and wouldn't be pretty. So they're just doing a bunch of like show deportations, right? There's that fucking gross video that they labeled as ASMR of like random men that you don't know the identities of, you don't know the crimes of, you're not told shit about them, which is the fucking weird part, which is the awful part, right? Like, listen, if there was a court trial, if a jury or a judge sentenced them with good evidence, then sure, I don't really give a fuck if they get sent to El Salvador. I mean, I prefer if they didn't. I prefer if they like at least were like not sent to a slave camp. But like, I'm not gonna shed tears for the individual person. More likely just the process and the thoughts and the mindset behind it. But if they're not gonna have the trials or the judges or any of that shit, then fuck. I can't support this. It's bad. You shouldn't support it either. It's really bad. So yeah, that fucking abysmal dog shit image was posted by the White House. Goddamn. What else happened with the White House? Oh yeah, there was that journalist who was in what was it called? What's it called again? I don't use all these weird. Yeah, no, there was that Atlantic journalist who was in that Signal group chat that had like Pete Hegseth and JD Vance and other federal officials in it, and they were like play by play talk like posting about like their attacks on Houthis in the group chat, which was all confidential information. And it shouldn't have been on a fucking Signal chat. It should have been on some sort of government intranet or some kind, or a government VPN, a government anything besides a fucking Signal group chat. God damn it! And it was like posting like exact times when like flights were coming off and on a fucking aircraft carrier. And it's like it's bad enough that they're just having that in the group chat, right? They might as well use fucking Discord, by the way. It's bad enough, but like imagine if like someone got killed because of that, or some plan was like completely foiled because of that. And unfortunately, the journalist has not like posted everything about it because he's afraid of what it could do to national security or some bullshit. But like that's just so embarrassing. This administration is nothing but embarrassment after embarrassment, man. Come on. Ugh. Goddamn. What else happened? Oh yeah, Trump is gonna offer a new tariff, a new 25% tariff on all imported cars, because that's what the car market needs right now. That's what if you're an American right now and you need to buy a new car or a used car for that matter, what you really want is for every imported car, which includes not just the fancy ones, if you know anything about the car industry, uh, to have those just go up 25% on the customers, right? Just awesome. Just what we need, please. It's just I don't even know what the thought process is here, right? We're gonna bring auto manufacturing back to the United States because cars get more expensive. First off, cars have been getting more expensive regardless of where they're from. No foreign countries under selling in the United States in Biden's term, and it didn't increase manufacturing of cars, of automobiles, right? How is this going to do any better? What this looks like to me is just like a weird ploy to increase the sales of like certain preferred automakers like Tesla, like the fucking Teslas that were being showcased on the White House front lawn by Trump, QVC style. It's all computer. How awful. Not a fan. Not a fan at all. What else has happened in the realm of politics? Oh, yeah, there's a new book out on the Democrat side. There's a cool, epic book out, a political book called Abundance by Ezra Klein and Derek Thompson. Both of them are like progressive journalists. And what is it? Well, it's sort of their like weird progressive liberal eco modernist Mein Kampf. Just kidding, not like Mein Kampf. They don't have a target, but they do have a struggle. They do have what they assume to be a solution. The solution is an abundance mindset, a liberalism that builds. The entire book. Okay, first off, this fucking book, I'm currently in the middle of reading it, so I'm not gonna give my complete verdict on if it's good or not, right? Because that'd be, unfair. But I will talk about the stuff I've read so far. And what I've read so far has been either really blasé and boring or really, really stupid. And the stupid part is this intro for it, right? I'm not going to read the intro. I'm pretty sure you can find that online very easily or see someone read it out because it's like the hook of the book is the intro, right? And the intro is just like your wake up in this epic 75-story mega building, and you eat your lab grown meat and your tower grown vegetables. Your electricity bill is negative. It's zero. You get paid for using electricity because it's all made with green technology and small modular nuclear reactors. And your best friend is on a 2-hour flight to England because we can have unlimited air travel, and you get a pill that gives you Ozempic, and it's free, and it was made in an orbital factory where they clone the cells, and then they have rockets, reusable not Tesla, fucking SpaceX rockets, bring it back up and down for you to consume the pill, and it's way better. And this was 2050. Now, that's obviously a pie in the sky ideal, and they themselves sort of say that, but like, if that's what like they think a successful turnaround materially logical future looks like, that's fucking bullshit. That is techno-futurism, but like lived up. That is the Chobani ad all over again. Me no like. Listen, eco-modernism is not bad, okay? You can do it. I sometimes do it. It's pretty okay, The idea that we can stop with the environment soiling and the ecological destruction while maintaining our standard of living is great. But what abundance wants, what its intro wanted, what the book proceeds to talk about, besides blaming and making up this weird history of American political, like economic decision making in the past 70 years or so. What it wants is like infinite growth, which is not what's gonna work. I'm sorry, you cannot have fucking SpaceX rockets shoot up and down just to get you your fucking soy pills. Okay, that's not gonna work in the future. Not because we can't have rockets in the future, but mainly because we can't just have like rockets work for like really cheap consumer products, right? Yeah, no. Like, we're not gonna use SpaceX rockets to get you your, your goddamn Ozempic, okay? Like, okay, what so far this book has been just talking about is how there's too much red tape to build things. We need to let, of course, private individuals and companies build everywhere and everything. And, like, yes, we should build more things. We shouldn't build what we're building now. I don't want the exact same, like, weird suburbia bullshit, right? Maybe for, like, people with families, but, like, what we should be building is, like, much nicer urban streets, nice, cool brownstones that, fit nicely together with a backyard in the back, but not the sides, okay? And not the front either. Nice big apartment buildings with amenities, all these nice things. We should build more stuff and bring down the price of it. But at the same time, I don't trust the free market to do that all by itself. And that's why we need to have government regulations, right? The EPA, yeah, it's probably a bit, probably not the most efficient organization in the world, but as you see right now, with Donald Trump in charge, it's also gonna not exist pretty soon. So yeah, no, I mean, you contrast this to other recent attempts to lead the Democratic Party away from the status quo liberalism that like Joe Biden and Hillary Clinton represented, right? Which was mainly Bernie Sanders, who just talked about things that people actually really fucking want right now, like cheap healthcare, not decided by your fucking job or your income. You know, that's what people want. They want cheap healthcare and cheap housing, not easier developments that will not be any fucking more cheaper because 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 whatever, it's stupid. And like using that as like your big democratic like presidency like running talk is okay or whatever. If you want to talk about like building and zoning, that's 100% a more local politics thing because zoning laws are decided by cities and counties and sometimes even states, and that's not decided by the presidential election. The president doesn't come up and say we're going to build new cities. Trump said that. Hasn't happened yet. I made a whole video about it. It was really stupid. I don't believe him. Yeah, that book exists. Listen, yeah, ecomodernism is fine. It just shouldn't be done in this like weird, still liberal, still annoying way, right? And they're like, oh, Democrats shouldn't be afraid to be called socialists, and that's true. They shouldn't. But they should also maybe realize that there's a reason why they should be afraid because anyone who doesn't like their neighbors, let alone social welfare, will never vote for them. And that's been the case forever, right? They shouldn't appeal to those people, right? But at the same time, plenty of people would vote for them if they said they were socialists. People would vote for them if they said we're going to actually redistribute wealth properly, right? And not just loosen the bearings holding this country together and see if it works or not better, right? Yeah, this is the same like weird pseudo optimistic, not pseudo optimistic. It's optimistic, but it's like incorrectly optimistic thinking that had like Elon Musk be a liberal like media darling in the 2010s. But as it turns out, private wealth is at the whims of like weird corporate retards like Elon Musk. Yeah, no, not a fan of this book. I'll keep reading it. I'll keep going over it, see if they have anything better to say. They've had this weird history where they're like, America had problems. It acted too fast and too hard in solving them, and now we're suffering the consequences. And it's like we didn't really solve the problems that were actually affecting things like the working class properly. This is some PMC shit. This whole book. Not a fan. And if they're gonna run a presidential campaign off of these ideas, because if you didn't know, the Democratic Party listens to people like Ezra Klein and Derek Thompson. They listen to them. It's not that good. Doesn't look that good. People don't give a shit about these policies. Trust me. And people are like, oh well, these technical database solutions are what would help people. And like yeah, that's great. We should use those technical database solutions, but that's not what you run on. A person who doesn't have lots of time to look at these solutions and look at the data and look at the fucking graphs you post, Will Stancil. A person who could vote who doesn't vote right now isn't gonna be swayed by that because they don't have fucking time because they're busy working like everyone else in this fucking country. Stupid. Politics is mainly the domain of like either the insane or the leisurely. But like for the most part, it's like old people, some young people who have a lot of time on their hands, but then eventually phase out of that in their late 20s. And then like the wealthier people, like the higher income you go, the more time you have off to go focus on politics, the more property and income sources you have to worry about the political backlash of, unless you're a Republican, in which case then you don't actually give a fuck and you let the country's economy tank by itself because of really, really, really stupid tariffs. Yeah, yeah. We need really big, dumb messages, right? As it turns out, the last couple elections, big, dumb, simple, and sometimes not even what you'd call technically correct messaging works with big popular elections. It's crazy. You know what's really funny? There's a couple elections right now, local small elections for like state senate and other people that like are in like Trump 2024 like counties, right? Districts that like voted hard for Trump in 2024 and Democrats are winning them. I don't know if it's what they're specifically doing for those small elections, but to me, it sounds like they just really, really fucked up in 2024. Like, really fucked up, right? That they let Trump win. That's what it sounds like to me. It sounds like maybe the country didn't all turn evil, schizo, right wing overnight. It sounds more like the Democrats just didn't know how to fucking run an election. So that's that right now. Oh man. What else happened in the world of politics? Well, in terms of gamer politics, a really funny event happened. So, Elon Musk, everyone's favorite ketamine addict, Boer, he loves to tweet a lot. He tweets the most. He tweets so much that he bought the website for $44 billion, right? Right, he posts a lot. And there's another guy named Grums, who's this former early 2000s Blizzard like game development lead guy who ever since then has been a complete utter fucking failure, but is unfortunately a media darling for like conservatives and right wingers and culture war types. And Elon Musk likes the guy. He listens to him. He wants to make AI video games with him. Bleak. Grums tweeted out a so sorry. So currently in the gamer space, there's this big culture war over the newest Assassin's Creed game for a lot of reasons. Mainly because they don't like Ubisoft, because Ubisoft is a progressive company. There are lots of good reasons to not like Ubisoft or buy their products, by the way. There are plenty. This is not one of them. Not because they're too woke or whatever the fuck, which is why they're trying to boycott the newest game or whatever, alright? It's calling it racist against Japanese people, which I play the game. It really isn't. It's probably one of the most like we really like Japan and like listen to historians and made all these cool things, games about Japan ever. In some instances, more so than Ghost of Tsushima in terms of like being a Japan history, culture, tourism game. So they have that. Also, because one of the main character, the second main character is Yasuke, who was historically a real East African slave who showed up with the Portuguese, and one of the main Japanese warlords at the time took him in as his retainer, gave him weapons and land, and had him fight in battles. And it turns out that makes you kind of a samurai. So he's a samurai in the game. He's one of the characters, and people were like, why can't I play as a Japanese person in my fucking Japanese video game in Japan? And as it turns out, you do play as a Japanese character. You play as Naoe, who is the sneaky assassin character. She's Japanese. She's from like a fucking hick country town full of ninjas that it actually existed in real life. And you play as her for like 9 hours if you take it slow until you get to actually playing as Yasuke. So maybe they're wrong. I don't know. You can also play the entire game as her, except for certain story stuff, like maybe like 3 hours of content minimum for Yasuke, but the rest can be Naoe. Not even kidding. But yeah, they're angry about the game. They don't like it. They're trying to boycott it. Whatever. They've a million videos about it. Infinite drama about it. Cool, right? And the game released, and they put a lot of money into marketing, like any other AAA studio does. And one things they did is they paid streamers to stream the game. That's not a new thing. It happens all the time. One of the guys they paid to do it was Hassan Piker. You probably know who Hassan Piker is by now, right? He's like a nephew of that Young Turks guy. I'm so bad with the important names. Hang on. Young Turks anchor. How am I forgetting it? Not Anna Kasparian. Cenk Uygur. Yeah, Cenk Uygur, right? Yeah. His nephew. He's one of the most like popular Twitch streamers. He's a politics streamer. He's a very, very left Twitch streamer. In fact, his entire thing is mainly politics. In fact, he's just a political live streamer, right? He's big, right? And like him or dislike him or just be neutral about him, he's playing the video game. He got sponsored to do it. Normal business tactic with Ubisoft is to pay people to play their video game, right? Cool. And Grums did not like that because Grums also hates Hassan. He hates all leftists because he's right-wing fascist. Anyways, right, he posted, you can tell a lot about Ubisoft, at Ubisoft, with how much money they are throwing at terrorist platforming streamers. With a caption of Hassan announcing he's going to be playing the game sponsored by Ubisoft, right? Now, they say Hassan is a terrorist sponsorer because he is anti-Zionist, he's pro-Gaza, and on occasion, he's also said stuff like, I'm pro the Houthis in this broader international conflict against the US and Israel. I'm pro Palestinian resistance in Gaza, which may or usually includes people who are Hamas, right? Or is more sympathetic to Hamas's viewpoints, right? And you can say that's terrorism, but if you've been paying attention to politics in the United States for the past fucking 30 years, you understand that the word terrorist is not what you'd call a very specific or politically genuine term, right? It can be used for a lot of groups. Grum's posted that. He got replied by the big man himself, Elon Musk. He said Hassan is a fraud. I don't know what the fuck that means. I don't know what that... Sure. And then Elon replied to himself, which is how you normally do Twitter, right? You reply to yourself like an hour or two after the fact to correct yourself, which is weird. He has an edit button. He made an edit button for Twitter. Whatever. Sellout would be more accurate. Objectively, he is promoting a terrible game just for the money. That tweet right there has 37,000 likes. That's a lot. Good for Elon, I guess. He doesn't need likes on Twitter. But then Elon was replied to, not by Hassan, but by the official at Assassin's Creed Twitter account. And they said, is that what the guy playing your Path of Exile 2 account told you? That reply has 732,000 likes. That is what we call in the business a brutal ratio. Holy shit, that's so fucking funny. Oh my Christ. Oh, it's awesome. It's great. It's just phenomenal. I'm so happy for them, right? Like, it's so fucking funny. It's so fucking funny, right? I love whoever runs that account, whatever Quebecois intern who's not paid that much should get a raise, a pat in the back, an NPC named after him, whatsoever. Great, phenomenal work right there, right? Ratioing the guy who owns the fucking website that you're on, the giant social network. Fantastic, But then they got replied to again by Grums. Oh, there's more? Yes, there's more. Grums posted a link saying Assassin's Creed isn't selling as well as it should be or whatever by like some random game website. And that has like 13k likes. Ooh. But then that got replied to by Assassin's Creed again. And they said our game is out with 312,000 likes. So if you don't know, Grums has been currently working on a video game called Ember. It's EM8ER. It's some like stupid shitty mecha game made in like Unreal Engine. It's been being developed for like years now. It's a Kickstarter thing, I think, and it's basically a giant scam. He's not really working on it. The guys he pays to quote unquote work on it post like these awful gameplay development videos that look like shit. He mainly, if he ever talks about it, he mainly is like shilling for like skins that look AI generated for like characters who are like scantily clad women. It's really embarrassing, right? So he hasn't been making a video game. He's been hyping one up. He hasn't released it. They said, We released our video game. Where's yours?" Great stuff. Great stuff. Just two ratios back to back from Slop themselves. Awesome. Goddamn. How embarrassing. And then, Elon's like challenging Hassan to talk to him or whatever. Or no, he was making fun of him for blocking Elon. And it's like, you should probably mute or block Elon if you're on Twitter, because you'll see nothing but his like garbage, nothing burger posts all the time. Even if you're like on the right wing, you should probably block him or mute him because he's just boring. Anyways, so Hassan did that, and Elon's like, "This guy's a coward." Hassan said, "Okay, I'm unblocking you on live streams. I'm gonna unblock you, and come on my show. I'll talk to you. I'll go on a Twitter space, whatever." Or he actually challenged him to a 1v1 in Elden Ring, which is really funny because Elon did play Elden Ring and he had a horrible build. Whatever. Just clownery, because like Elon's accepted challenges before. He's always backed down. He got challenged from that meta guy. I always forget his name. He got challenged from like Jon Stewart to just have an interview all on Elon's terms. Jon Stewart said okay, and Elon fucking pussied out. So whatever this is, it's not gonna lead to anything. Even Hassan said as much as himself. But like, yeah, it's just been really embarrassing on that side of the fucking culture war at the moment. Womp womp. What else is happening right now in culture? Well, you've probably seen that weird morning routine video, haven't you? The one where it's like the black guy waking up and he's like, the first thing he does is like get the, after brushing his teeth, is he like buys this Saratoga sparkling water in the blue bottle. He dumps it in a big bowl of ice and then dunks his face into it. And then he goes outside, does like 2 push-ups in like a horrible posture for push-ups, by the way. Then he walks back, does that again. Then he goes to the gym to go like hammer, sprint, break your shin, run on a fucking treadmill. And then he goes and does a horrible dive into a pool. And then he gets out, dunks his face in more the same Saratoga water, fucking ice. He then takes a shower, gets out of the shower, eats a banana. He takes the banana peeled and rubs it on his face. I don't know what the fuck that is. And then he dumps his face in the Saratoga water again. And then he goes to work on his influencer male Chad Grindset podcast. And it's all in like a hotel of some sort. It's a really like weird, stupid video. Everyone's made fun of it. Even the stupid corporate accounts are making fun of it with posts. If you take the video timeline, it's like on the screen seriously. He spent 4 minutes floating in the air during his dive. And what it either is, it's an advertisement for that sparkling water, or it's just the guy using like a weird sort of method to get views on his videos and his accounts. Because let's be real here, attention is money, folks. You should like even negative attention is money, right? What's a good example, right? Sony movies, Morbius. That movie fucking sucks, right? But it got so much negative attention because of how bad and stupid it looked. It probably made more money than it would if no one talked about it. These guys are using that from the get-go. They're making weird, stupid shit to get you to watch their videos because you're like, oh, is he gonna do more weird, stupid shit? And the answer will be yes, maybe between advertisements and other things that make them money. Sure, right? All about attention, all about money. Yeah. Yeah, it's dumb. It's dumb. But it does make that one. I do see that water in stores though, so I always look at that kind of weird. What else has happened culture-wise? Um, Oh yeah, the new Ina game is out. Do you know what Ina is? You've probably seen the videos of the weird blue and yellow like a computer character Ina. The game is out. You should go play it. The first chapter, which is all that's out, is free. It's a pretty fun like puzzle game. It's There's actually multiple ways to finish it. It's definitely worth your time. I really enjoyed playing it. You should play it too. It's not an advertisement. I'm not making any money off of this. The guy's not making money off the game either because it's free. I'm just telling you to play it because I know it's worthwhile, right? If you have a computer, play it. Other stuff. Since I played it, might as well talk about it here and give my own thoughts on it, even though it's again a contentious game from a contentious company. Assassin's Creed Shadows. Okay, so if you've played any of the more recent games, you understand that they are not like the older games. They are these RPGs with inventories, and you equip weapons, and they all have like levels and different scores, and that's what an RPG is, right? I know right now the typical like epic Reddit gamer opinion is like gear score is awful, but like lots of games use things that like have scores, right? And this isn't like a weird it's not like a fucking what's that Suicide Squad game. It's not like that. The actual statistics that you run with the game are pretty simple, and the upgrades you get actually do really change the gameplay a lot, right? You actually look forward to upgrades this game provides. Um, it's pretty good. You know, it's fun to infiltrate Japanese castles. What you should do if you do decide to even play it is to turn the stealth and combat on expert because that's when it's fun because it's more difficult. Now, there's a whole other argument about games having modifiers for stuff, right? Like, at the same time, you can have it to where no matter what you assassinate, you are guaranteed to kill them because without that on, you actually have to deal with like the leveling system for assassination damage, which is also contentious. There's other problems people have with the game that like like the horse doesn't automatically ride to your destination like it does in the previous games, or the stupid eagle is gone. You have to actually look at things to know where they are in the map, right? Which I prefer actually. But these are not like big issues, right? There isn't like a big gameplay issue at the moment. As far as I'm aware, from people who even didn't really like the last couple games, it's a pretty good game so far, like as far as Assassin's Creed goes, right? Now, you can just say, I don't like Ubisoft as a company, I'm not gonna buy it. Good. Great. Go for it. Unfortunately, it's a guilty pleasure of mine to play these games. I understand that they're pretty long and not what you'd call interesting, fulfilling. That's why I try to even them out with stuff like the Dream Barbecue game from, Vina. But at the same time, I like these games. They're pretty relaxing. It's fun. There's some actually some pretty good like story beats to it, some fun cutscenes, and the combat can be fun if we had the difficulty up, right? Like, with Naue, it's, she dies in like 2 hits with that on, so you have to actually be careful when fighting enemies. And it incentivizes stealth more, right? If Yasuke, you can say, fuck stealth, I can take hits, I can dish it out, let's go. But then you also can't do, stealth, and you also can't, do half the parkour stuff Naue can do, right? Because as Yasuke, you're a big lumbering dude, right? You can't you can't do backflips or anything like that, like the ninja girl can. So that's cool. I like that. You can choose how you want to play the game. There's also like this cool like hideout thing you can do where like you can buy decorations and even buildings and steal supplies from enemies that you then use to build the hideout, and you can make it like this whole like cool little like themed garden or whatever you want to do with it. It's pretty fun to mess around with that, even though it's like pretty superfluous. There is gameplay effects to the buildings, but again, you can just plop the buildings down however and then never go there, and you're yeah. I don't know. I like it. I eat slop sometimes, and sometimes slop is pretty fun to eat. Right? Everyone has their slop. Trust me. As for like microtransactions, like yeah, you can buy stupid skins that don't even match the gameplay, right? Which is honestly how I prefer it. Like, listen, yeah, it's stupid that like a single player game has you have to buy has you able to buy more stuff for it afterwards. It's just like a skin, no actual gameplay changes or updates to systems or any of that shit. That's stupid, right? But while that's gonna be the case with any Ubisoft game forever, because it's how the company operates, they're at least having all the stuff you can buy on their store be like really stupid, like crap, right? Like the lame Call of Duty skins people don't use. That's what they put on the store. So if you're like a big dumb idiot who wants to have a cool, epic, flaming skull samurai, then by all means, go ahead. But like, I don't want to do that. I want to have Yasuke wear like cool, weird Japanese clothing that you could theoretically have worn back then. Go for it. That's what I prefer. And you can. There's plenty of stuff to get in the game too. Now people might say there's a battle pass for it. That is like a incentivization to play the game and then get the stupid shitty microtransaction currency that you can then buy the skins and outfits with. But that like weird seasonal thing, it doesn't go away. It's not like a seasonal thing. It's there forever. B, it's free. There's no way to pay for it. It's just there. And C, it has its own rewards you get too. So I don't know what the fucking issue is with that. People might say there's a battle pass for it for a single player game, and it's more like a, hey, keep playing the game, you get more stuff. The same shit's on tons of other games, right? It's just formatted in the battle pass format because, as it turns out, the main audience for this game are like sub-IQ normies who play it on their Xbox Series X or their PlayStation 5, who will talk to their friends at work and they'll say, yo man, yeah, the new Assassin's Creed that's in like China or some shit. Like, it's those guys, right? And you know what? God bless them. They're living blissful, happy lives. They're not like me, who's deranged enough to look at what a 57-year-old Taiwanese man on the internet crying about the game has to say. Anyways, folks, that's it. See you next time. Bye.